Advertising. We see it all the time. Digital marketing experts believe we see between 4,000 to 10,000 advertisements daily. Therefore, it's not a surprise that a link has been found between what is portrayed in those ads and what we believe about gender roles. Before we begin, we must distinguish between sex and gender. Sex is known as the biological characteristics of a person, whereas gender is considered as the cultural meaning of those characteristics. In its essence, sex is innate, but gender is culturally constructed. For example, boys do come out of the womb with a penis, but they don't come out masculine, stoic, and dominant. Sociologist Erving Goffman believed that we as humans have no sense of authentic self. Instead, we are merely a collection of roles. We're just performing all the time. In simple terms, it's like we are an actor who is constantly changing masks, but never takes it off. This concept of performing relates to gender roles, as gender is also something that we perform. We gather information regarding masculinity and femininity, and thus form perceptions of how we should behave to fit these roles. But what makes up these depictions of masculinity and femininity? We all know by now that each gender has a defined set of characteristics. Boys are strong, calculated, and dominant, whereas girls are delicate, innocent, and submissive. Goffman looks to advertising when analysing what makes up and maintains these depictions of masculinity and femininity. He calls ads commercial realism because they try to present the world in a way that seems real but is actually very distorted. Let's look at some trends that Goffman discovered when analysing women in advertisements.
Choose your character.
Being a little more specific, a recurring theme is that women are often positioned lying down. They are defenseless and are at the whims of their surroundings. This is considered a position of subordination, as they have no control over their environment. What's even more poignant is that this position has become a symbol of female sexuality. Women are idealized when they are defenseless. This then has had a flow-on effect to be that femininity and the ideal woman should be complacent and submissive. These images may appear typical, as we see them everywhere, on magazines, billboards, and online, but it is the very fact that we as viewers see these obscure positions as normal that we realise how far gender roles have been entrenched in our society. It is only when we see men in these feminine positions that we realise how much images of subordination are associated with women. In contrast, men are shown to be centred and powerful, often standing taller than the woman, and he seems to be controlling his surroundings. A man is defined by what a woman is not. They are not submissive or quaint, but they are the opposite. They are dominant and powerful. Ultimately, advertising shows us how we should behave in our gendered roles in society, but it is our decision to perform these roles that constitutes a subordination.